On the last season of Campfire Quest, 5 adventurers found themselves behind bars before receiving a visit from a mysterious wizard named Sebastian, who promised them freedom if they fetched him a powerful orb capable of great destruction. With few options, the group made a blood contract with the wizard, and all but Spanky set off on their first quest. Shortly after setting out, they encountered their first foes, a gaggle of goblins. After, they explored the jungle, avoiding traps and escaping near death from an evil spirit which guarded an abandoned home. Inside the house's basement, the 4 ventured through the appropriately named Flesh Tunnel and had a dangerous run-in with a rock golem. Fleeing from the tunnel, they returned to the road and met a blue-scaled dragonborn bounty hunter named Balazar, who told the adventurers he was seeking a golden dragonborn named Arjan, a wizard who was also seeking the orb. He provided the 4 with bracelets to temporarily limit Sebastian's power over them, and they left for the harbor. Once there, they boarded the Misanthrope and battled a group of Sahuagin and pirates alongside Captain Zeph and his crew. Finally, they disembarked in a new desert biome, only to immediately have to fight wormlings that were terrorizing the harbor. They were saved by Arjan, who was seemingly drunk and agitated. He convinced the 4 that Balazar and Sebastian were evil, and they should bring the orb to him instead. Owing no loyalty to Sebastian, they agreed, and after a visit to some shops, they used Arjan's map to cross the sand dunes to reach the orb's tower. Along the way, they picked up some explosives, briefly encountered a sketchy old lady, and had a tense meeting with Balazar, who appeared in the night. Once they reached the tower, they met an innocent and trusting minotaur who guarded the place, eventually having to cocoon him in spiderwebs so they could cross the moat to the tower's entrance. But the water proved treacherous, and they had to fight off a tentacled monster before proceeding. While inside the tower, the adventurers found some treasure, vials of blood, and yet another minotaur, who turned out to be terrified of Janitami's spider form. And at long last, they found the orb, carefully housed in 2 separate boxes. Unfortunately, the group noticed a small army approaching the tower, and meanwhile, Valandril, who had wandered away from the group, was suddenly paralyzed, with Lady Prospera, an old friend of Sebastian's, making her first appearance, demanding information from Val. Val then returned to his companions, deciding their best option would be to take the orb to Lady Prospera. However, in their rushed state, the adventurers made the very intelligent decision to drop the orb from a great height, damaging the box containing the orb. And during a small confrontation between the group, the box was kicked open, beginning the orb's process of detonation. A disappointed Lady Prospera came to their aid and explained to them their now hopeless situation. The orb would detonate, and their only option now was to send it as far away as possible. So Lady Prospera teleported the orb to the polar north, and brought the adventurers to an ancient gnome named Ellison to begin their process of reparations. The 4, committed to righting their wrongs, followed Ellison to the polar north. But upon arrival, Sebastian, Balazar, and their old companion Spanky appeared, criticizing Lady Prospera's decision. Sebastian claimed there is a way to prevent further damage, and teleported them to a familiar place, the very same flesh tunnel they'd already encountered, yet somehow even fleshier than before. They ventured inside, climbing over corpses and dodging traps. With less than half an hour before the orb advanced into its next stage, the 4 found a hellbeast guarding a second orb in the heart of the tunnel, and at its feet was a mutilated corpse of Lady Prospera. The adventurers put up a good fight against the powerful beast before using their Hearthstone to return themselves and the second orb to Sebastian. This time, when they appeared, Arjan was also present, and the collection of wizards used the second orb to stabilize the Tempest Storm. After many days of turmoil and nearly everything going wrong in the end, the 4 adventurers appeared to have prevented world destruction, and now they may begin the next stage of their journey.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Campfire Quest. Oh my gosh, we are back after an incredible Season 1, and if you're here watching Campfire Quest, it's probably because you're pretty excited about tabletop RPGs like we are, and we're here rolling D&D 5e. That's the way we roll. And it's not just me, it's me and these cool kids sitting around the table right now. Hey, cool kids.
Who are you calling cool?
Yeah, who are you calling cool?
I'll call you cool. I'll call you cool.
Who you calling dirty
cool.
dad?
Hey everybody, how'd you enjoy that little break we had in between Season 1 and 2?
Hi, Dr. Nick. Pretty good.
It was good. I was,
Sleeping, that was really nice. Lots of
So much sleep.
road tripping.
Watching TV. Oh, that was nice. Like an episode of a thing.
And
Was it strange?
No.
Stop.
Thank you. Frank got it.
There was
Oh.
there was probably a chance for most of you to play D&D off stream, if I'm not mistaken. I know you people. And I'm gonna
There
guess
definitely
you were
wasn't.
out.
I did.
Nope.
I played D&D.
I forgot. I stopped thinking about it. Just completely.
Well, I'm glad to have you back so that you can finally roll some dice again.
Yes.
And yep.
That's my favorite part.
It was
What was
4.
it? Oh no! Don't start with that.
Unfortunately,
Let's not do that.
Unfortunately,
that unfortunately,
Unfortunately.
13
okay.
only.
we have had a pretty good time getting to this point, and with that recap that we had, we all are back on the same square. We realize what we've done, and by we I mean you. You've unleashed a mighty tempest on this world. It's luckily in an isolated place. It's not bothering too many people because it's not moving around yet. And really, even though you could take some credit for starting the storm and causing the damage and the deaths and wreaking the havoc,
damn proud of it too.
the reality is that you actually saved a lot of people. You minimize the amount of damage this world could have taken. There was so much worse that could have occurred. And without getting too much into the behind the scenes, because there's a lot of fun stuff to talk about that wasn't taking place here at the table, Lady Prosperia did die. And that's fortunate because her goal in life was to place the obsidian orb at the North Pole and the orb of fire on the South Pole, opening both and consuming the entire world in a firestorm. She failed. She was eaten by a hell beast, and that's where we are today.
What a hell beast.
A hell
Yep.
beast.
He's not gonna throw a hell beast at us. Come on.
I like how this is the ongoing joke that nobody will get.
Nobody's gonna
Not
get
for a
it.
while.
As many people as are watching will get the joke.
Donate $300 now to get the exclusive take.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
That's a very specific paywall.
900,
very-
and I'll fly to your house and just tell you, tell you all about it.
Yeah.
I swear, if there's an actual $300 donation after that, I am going to lose it.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, don't bank on it.
Hey,
Are you kidding? Yeah, okay, true. Don't bank on it, but do hope.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
they don't want me to hope anymore.
We would love
Oh.
to donate that money to a good cause. We're donating to a student loan organization that pays off student loans, basically ours.
Yes.
So we'd love those
Do you have your
donations.
student loans paid off?
Yeah, no.
Oh no.
Which one is it?
Little from column A, little from column B. if you're not paying them, does it count as having not paid them off? I don't know.
If they still exist, then no, you haven't paid them off.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll have to figure that out at some point because I'm not entirely sure.
IRS keeps knocking on my door.
As long as you don't pick up the phone, they don't know.
I do know that in the fantasy world, we don't have to worry about those kind of things, which might be why I spend so much time here.
Yeah.
So here in this fantasy world where you guys are holding just so many grenades, so many frag.
Literally.
Lots and lots of grenades.
The last thing I thought I'd be saying, but here you are. You found a very weird thing with one of your rolls. You also have... what else did you pick up? I know we didn't cover everything in that audio recap. What else did you... You picked up some specific loot.
I really want to point out the fact that Janet Tammy still has a dragon scale.
Yeah,
Also, Grant has some
Usain boots
boots.
of something. Yeah.
It's been over 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's been over 48 hours.
No, yeah. We're gonna pick this episode up. We're gonna pick up season 2 about 7 days after we left off, and that means you've had more than enough time. The boots have attuned to you, and they've attuned to the group that you're with.
What?
I have a question about it. I have this spell called Long Stride, and it gives me an extra 10 feet of movement for an hour. Does that mean that...
Yes.
Cool.
his boots will always match the fastest member of the party that he's attuned to. So if you can suddenly make yourself go 90, then Usain boots with anybody in them can also go 90.
That's
Oh, and magical
Amazing.
component pouches. That's actually pretty awesome.
Yep, you guys got a couple of magical component pouches that I think it's not as important for you druids, but it is important for the...
Oh, I need it.
Druids?
Oh,
Okay.
I need it for sure. Do you need it? Do you have any spells that require? Because we got 2.
I can also.
If you have
That
any
require
spells
what?
that require material.
No, but any,
If I want.
anything I fire an arrow with
Like,
will require
one or the
arrows.
other.
Okay, it's more of a
Let's-
for the magical component
let's read that
pouches.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember the requirement.
you get it.
Because if it says that, I just need to know what I meant when I wrote it. Because I think that...
You automatically match the speed of the fastest member of your party.
Oh yeah, that's
or-
if there's no party with you. If you're by yourself, then you travel at 1.5.
Sorry guys, I gotta go. I want to travel.
You're slowing me down.
I want to travel at 1.5 times my normal speed.
We also got a couple of healing potions.
Got a lot of
couple?
healing potions.
Yeah.
A lot.
A minute. How many? I don't know if I have.
I
Did
have
we
2
distribute
graters
them, or
on
did
me.
We just
We
did
distributed
distribute
them.
them.
we distributed them.
Distributed it.
Where did
Distributed it.
I have a vial of
Wait,
gunpowder.
2
I
potions
also-
of healing and 2 potions of greater healing, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, each.
We have
okay.
4.
Oh, do I have the... Oh, here's the
I used one of
regular.
mine already.
I have a flask of oil, and I also have a healer's potion bottle full of gunpowder.
I need to find that person.
Does Jan and Tammy still have the ring, or did that get
have
destroyed
it.
with the ghost?
I have it.
Let me
Yeah.
remove it from my inventory.
Okay. Did
Because in the
Colin
great
get it, or-
episode 3,
Yeah.
Valandro gifted it to her as a friend to try to mend
I think you were.
whatever
punched
broken
it.
parts there was. And then she punched a ghost with it. That's awesome.
I also have a piece of bark.
Everyone
from a
knows
weird
silver,
tree.
iron, and
Yeah.
salt.
Which hand are you wearing that ring on?
My right.
Okay.
Jan and Tammy is right-handed.
Okay.
Consequently, you have a prop on there to signify for right now.
Oh,
Consequently.
yeah,
There you go.
I'm also lifting my right arm up.
Which is a subtle nod to your arm being up.
Whoa! Love that show.
I still have the whistle that Balazar gave us.
Uh-huh.
That'd be so funny.
And obviously
After
the
all
blood
this stuff
magic
is over,
blocking
we're just like-
bracelets.
He's like, what? It's all done with.
We're done.
What do you ask?
Stop
for?
calling me. I have 1 blue wormling scale.
So those, and nobody knows that if I'm not mistaken.
Nobody.
Nobody knows that.
And-
Canonically, within our, I saw something, but I didn't know what it was, so I shrugged it off. So should she pull it out, I'll be a little less surprised.
That sounds good.
More disappointed.
And I believe on top of that, let's see. You guys have divvied up all your cash, all your potions,
I'm
all
still
of
rich
everything from
AF.
season 1.
Yeah, you are.
All right, then. 7 days have passed. And in that 7 days, you've learned some things. You've cleaned up yourselves a bit. You've had a chance to repair broken things. And maybe you could tell me over the 7 days, if you had time, not necessarily to... You're not in a place where you could go acquire things, necessarily. There are people around, so if you're really hell-bent on finding something, you could try that way. But I'm more interested in what kind of self-improvement things you did over the last 7 days. How did you spend 7 days? You were in roughly the same area of the Arctic. The homes that you're living in, they're not made from ice like igloos. They're made from wood that was brought up to this area. And they're long buildings that have row after row after row after row of bed. And a lot of the people that are working up in the Arctic to help where you guys are staying there with you. So for 7 days, you've been surrounded by a group of maybe 40 or 50 people, and you've had about, well, let's say 6 days to yourself, because on the 7th day, something changes. What have you done for 6 days to fill your time?
Partake in the culture.
The culture of the Arctic.
I mean, we're surrounded by like 40, 50 people, right?
True.
That's enough to start a banquet.
That's
Absolutely.
fair.
Party! That's what I mean by partake in the culture.
Of course it is.
It's get into the mood just a little bit so you can kind of feel what the party's like. These people are out collecting the dead from the storm. They're helping heal the wounded and transport them to a safer space, and that's what you guys are doing pretty much. What kind of party are you putting together during amid the corpses?
Why are you trying to make this a little Debbie Downer across the table?
Oh no!
Shit, dude.
Oh,
I don't know if I. All right, I'm here to announce Valandril's retirement. I can't possibly do anything beyond that. Thank you very much.
You're straight up just gonna reroll.
It's kind of like the moment he was just like, oh yeah, the beast was like just minding his own business. And you made a hell beast sympathetic. What is wrong with you?
Well,
Oh no!
I didn't even introduce you to his poor children.
Dad, why?
Hell Betty and Hell Bobby.
Wow!
Where's Dada? Where's Dada?
Oh no!
And they have a lady P to feast off her. They'll be fine for like a week.
That's fair.
So much to eat.
50s names, like little kids from the 50s.
It's a Hell Beast thing.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a his age thing.
Right.
Oh, that hurt more than anything else today. And I'm old.
That's rude. Don't you insult our DM like that.
Because
he can screw
he's
you up.
trying to convince me that nobody would want to celebrate the not end of the world.
I would say that you had yourself a pretty good banquet, and the people that
Thank
you're
you.
hanging out with are a mixture of people. You've got a bunch that you'd seen before but not talked to because it's Sebastian's reformatory. It gets a little dicey there, so you don't have time to make BFFs. But in the time that you've been here, you've met a lot of the gray cloaks with the black borders, and you found them to be very reasonable people, and they love Sebastian. They are loyal beyond belief to the man that turned them around. And I know that your experience with them was a little different. You know, you didn't get the full wow, I have nothing, but now I have everything experience, because to you it seemed like you were railroaded into this, when in reality you were just being given a chance to reform from your wicked ways when you steal treasure laying around on the ground.
Valandril was an elf of no sin until this journey
Well,
when he gained homicidal tendencies.
Yeah, when he went through his MCR phase.
MCR?
My Chemical
My Chemical
Got it.
Romance.
Thank you.
Wow.
I never went through that phase IRL, so ooh.
Stream, come on. We have a brand to protect.
Our brand is Uru.
I ain't in charge anymore. Wild card!
He can do whatever he wants.
I'm a loose cannon on the edge.
Jan and Tammy probably over the 6 days leading up to our new events is probably gonna spend as much of her time trying to learn, but also help using her healing magic that she's just now getting used to and stuff, and looking at plants because she really likes plants.
well, that's cool. The plants are hard to find, but it's not that they're not there. When you dig around in the snow, you find there's an entire biome about 3 feet under the snow of plants that grow and thrive in this kind of an icy environment. As far as your healing magic, you get ample opportunity to practice. Injured people are brought in regularly. Not all of them from the storm. This is a rough place to live. So from time to time, people get dropped off in need of help and care, and you taking point on that gives you a lot of chance to get caught up on that.
Cool.
I would say during that time, you should hold on to a D6 of medical inspiration, and just keep that for the future. Valandril, I would like you to keep a D6 of insight. You've got a lot of insight into the people that you've been working with, so if a time ever comes that you want to try and figure out more about those people, I would say that the time that you spent gives you that bonus.
Nice.
What have you been doing?
Well, Monolith definitely would be looking through his inventory, selling off what he didn't need, and purchasing new stuff.
You will get a chance to do that. Where you are right now, it's more as if you're at a camp out with a bunch of people, and there's no general store to go to.
He was some of the things he just pawned off for like food or whatever, like a bartering system type thing. Like, oh, I got this extra little sword. You give me that garden gnome. We'll trade you. Kind of, I guess things like that.
I hear you. Do you have specific things you want to get rid of out of your inventory?
Yeah, just some like extra scimitars and a long sword that he doesn't use those. He don't like them. So he probably traded the scimitars for something. Like, what do these people got?
Well, they're there to work primarily, but that doesn't mean that while they're there, they don't have spending money and nowhere to spend it. So, if you choose to try and trade all this stuff now, if you were asking around, which it seems like you are, let's have you roll for. You're gonna
I don't know that roll.
Wow, Grant, it's every basic D&D
I have a
knowledge.
-1 to that.
Oh no.
Let's call it. Let's call it. You want people to do this for you. Let's say persuasion. You're
Persuasion,
around
yeah.
persuading people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see how persuasive you are.
Get that charisma.
Rather persuasive.
I'm pretty excited then.
Well, no, don't be.
No, it's too late. This is gonna be
Oh
awesome.
boy.
Let's see what kind of week you're having, Grant.
I roll like a 1, and then I'm like, "Hey, could you?" And they just walk away. All right. So,
I didn't even see it.
12 total.
Oh, yeah.
12.
So you got out there and bargained like an average person, maybe a little more bargainy than your average person, and that means that you would get close to value instead of being hosed on this stuff. Usually, if you're trading with people and it's for stuff that you're trying to get rid of, you're willing to take like, I don't know, I'll take your bag of beef jerky for this scimitar. When in reality, you should be taking like 35 gold for it.
Yeah.
These people don't have the kind of money that you want. But what are the things that you would want to trade for besides a bag of beef jerky?
Well, aside from beef jerky, I'm looking for short swords. I'm looking for short swords because I have 2 daggers, 2 scimitars, and a long sword. So I could trade any number of those in just for 2 short swords. And he heard somewhere along his adventures that short swords are better than daggers.
Some adventurer clued him into that?
So, adventure.
Do you remember what the adventurer's name was?
Ooh, man.
I mean,
in between episodes.
I think it was a real adventurer, right? Like, you spoke to an adventurer who you adventure with elsewhere?
Yeah, precisely.
Did you want to tell us who that was?
Well, their name would probably be something fantasy-like. Like Krogar.
Okay.
Krogar.
Well,
A+.
shout out to Krogar for helping out with the long sword,
Yes.
or short sword versus dagger
Yes.
wielding. So that means you have 2 scimitars and a long sword that you want to trade in.
I could even get rid of my precious daggers, if I must. But
And the 2 daggers that you have aren't the same, if I'm not mistaken.
no, I have a dagger +1 and a dagger.
And
Oh.
the dagger +1, what does that look like?
Green.
Isn't it gold with a silver and platinum? I'm
Very-
sorry, a
very-
platinum and gold.
Yeah, very
I
similar
think
to
so.
that
Yeah.
hammer.
Yeah. And who's got the warhammer?
Yeah, the hammer we sold it.
Oh, okay.
Silver
Yeah,
Warhammer.
for the
I forgot about
shoes,
that.
for the desert
For
shoes.
shoes. That's right.
Because a rogue couldn't steal it.
I rolled by 2 less than I needed or something.
And then
And
I
the
had
ranger
to,
was the one who stole it.
Yep.
I'm good.
And I had to intimidate him into.
Now, to be fair, it
Letting
was a
us
very
go.
sandy place. There was sand everywhere.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course, he gets
That's all-
everywhere.
Now this
Parker's
is
just
streaming.
like, I hate all of you.
This is sand racing.
Hello there.
Well, let's just say that you're successful, and we'll make it easy. It's the 2 scimitars and the long sword that you trade. You trade 2 scimitars to somebody for a short sword, and they walk away looking at their scimitars like they just had the greatest deal of their lives. They're just so excited. It looks like you can't tell if they're going to go be Dothraki for a cosplay or what, but they're just like, oh, yes, and they put them on their backs.
Oh, right.
Yes.
So I got one short sword from both scimitars?
Yeah. And then the long sword to short sword trade, the person you traded with wanted a long sword as bad as you wanted a short sword, but they thought that you weren't going to be willing to trade sword for sword, short for long, because theirs seemed to be, you know...
There's more metal.
Right.
It's technically
Yeah,
more metal.
it's a different weapon.
That being said, the short sword that they had was really nice, and they just had a hard time trading it one for one.
Oh, man.
They did so and walked away from the transaction feeling as if they'd been gypped. They're walking away looking at it like, but you know, you got what you wanted. You have one really nice looking short sword and one very regular looking short sword.
2 short swords, right?
You definitely 2 short swords. The one that looks a little bit different, you might want to note that there's a difference. You don't notice anything different when you're looking at it.
Right.
But it has a bronze tint to the metal. It's not silver or shiny or polished white. It is shiny, polished, tan, brown, coppery brand.
Oh my god, look at this shiny brown, tan, copper brown, tan copper sand.
That. And everybody gathered around and went, ooh.
We're like, what are you talking about?
Let's see. So you've got 2 swords. Congrats.
Nice.
Yeah.
It took me a whole week to do that.
Vodka Ant, what were you doing for 6 days?
I have been probably doing a lot of shadow sparring. And attempting to keep up the strength in the hand that is completely useless. And kind of wandering around, you know, striking conversation where I can, helping where I can, but trying to stay sort of on the outskirts of everything. I don't want to get too involved.
Okay.
Get too involved, they might start asking questions, then you'll have to tell them, yeah, it was us.
Yeah, pretty much exactly. Then I'm just gonna have to be like, let me buy you a drink, and I'm gonna leave, and you enjoy this by yourself, and I'm gonna go.
Please don't talk to me again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I write a very lengthy letter and send it back home to Bryce, my hubby.
We haven't heard from him.
Yeah, he's pretty chill.
Bring him on the adventure.
Yeah. I should. He's a fun one. I should play him too.
We should bring someone in to like guest play as
Bryce. Yes.
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be pretty
Yeah, that would be. It would be pretty cool. Quinn and Bryce would make quite a fun pair. They're the mischief makers, so yeah, that would be fun. But no, she's basically just been trying to help where she can, put back the rights, or right the things that she did wrong, and because she kicked the thing every day she wakes up and she's just like, I kicked the orb. I kicked the orb. Every day she takes a minute to question all of her life decisions. She's like, I kicked this orb. I kicked it. That was me. Yes.
Wasn't my fault.
Shut up.
Monolith has already mostly forgotten that he pushed it down. Like started that whole thing. He's pretty much forgotten that. He's like, I got my new short swords. I'm helping out. How did this even start? I don't know.
Quinn doesn't like to show it to anybody, but she does feel kind of a heavy responsibility for this. She's drunk and here to have a good time, but she feels rather guilty for
Good time,
kicking.
not for a long time.
Yeah, here for a good time, not for a long time. Unfortunately.
Especially if we end the
In killing hundreds, we may have saved the world.
That's true.
You're not here, and you don't get to talk to me.
Listen, there's a moral to gain from D&D. It's that murder is good. Alright?
Oh!
Like,
Yeah, I think so.
Homicide.
That just happened.
Yep.
That's a rather extreme.
I'm pretty sure
way to take.
Wizards of the Coast has that as their tagline.
I know. I went to the website, like
Murder's
in the
cool.
copyright, like where they have the like, owned and licensed by.
Disclaimer.
Just, like, in like even fainter text, it's like murder is cool.
Murder is cool.
Yeah.
See, disclaimer. They have to make a disclaimer that's like, we don't encourage any
We don't
illegal
encourage
activities or anything.
Winky face.
Wink face, yeah. We're all terrible people.
Don't worship the devil. Wink, wink, wink.
Don't tell me what to do.
Oh no.
I will come for you.
Oh gosh.
Well, I'm gonna need all of you
Stab
to
you.
remember what you earned over your 7 days, and for Quinn, that would be you get to choose whether it's for Dex or Strength, because your shadow boxing gave you an opportunity to be prepared for either of those two eventualities. It's a D6 of inspiration. We're gonna call it inspiration for the fun of it.
Okay.
Inspiration. You choose a Dex or a Strength situation to say I'm using it.
Nice.
All right.
Awesome.
You got swords. Some. What was yours?
Medical.
Medical, good one. I know you, Mr. Insight, and Strength and Dex. All right, beautiful. Well, after 6 days of all of your introspection,
Here it comes.
What?
You die.
You go on vacation, and nothing happens.
The end. Great stream, guys. This was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, there you
Thanks for
go.
coming over.
You go to an amusement park, but you don't get the fast pass.
Oh.
Dun, dun,
The
dun.
We have
line
to
was
roll.
so
Roll for line speed.
Roll for light speed, yeah.
Oh, I rolled a
9
20.
hours.
That's not good.
We missed the parade.
Oh,
Space
that was
Mountain's
my
totally
favorite
worth it.
part.
Who said we were going to that amusement park? I'd rather go to the Hulk.
Ye old ether of Space Mountain.
Yes.
And ye old green strongman.
Yeah. The Green Barbarian.
Green barbarian.
Boy. Green Goblin. Never mind.
That's another character.
I know. I had to stop.
Godspeed, Spider-Man. Can we just take a moment to appreciate Willem Dafoe's entire career?
And the good Spider-Man. Yes.
Right.
Are you saying Tom Holland is not a good Spider-Man?
I'm saying that for maybe the first time, I'm liking the old and the new Spider-Man so much that I don't have like an opinion.
That's
I
fair.
I thought he was
love
gonna say
for the
old
first time.
one, and now I'm absolutely in love with the new
Right,
one.
right.
It took me a while because, what's his name?
He's old and curmudgeoned.
Well, he was young. Yeah, Toby.
Toby.
He was young when I first started to think, there's my Spider-Man. Old and curmudgeon-y now,
Oh, I was
perhaps.
talking about you.
Oh. Well,
Just like, I don't want that new Spider-Man.
Okay.
Valandril, roll for
Roll for initiative.
By yourself.
Nat 20, bitches. Come at me.
Oh, that's interesting because you fell into a cave of hell beasts.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you go first.
Both of them weirdly named Bobby, and what was the other one?
Yeah, hell Betty.
Betty.
Hell Bobby
Betty.
and Hell Betty.
Hail Betty. Hail
God
Bobby.
damn it, Hell Bobby.
Yes.
I'm gonna sell my hell broke panties history.
Peggy Meatballs.
Hell, Peggy.
Hell, Peggy.
This is no longer a tabletop stream. It's just a king
So
of the
what was
hill.
happening in D&D?
I don't know.
Yeah, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Well, you finished 6 days of being on your own, and that's why everything seems so disjointed right now. You guys you were attached at the hip, and now you're suddenly mixed in with a group of roughly 40 other beings, and as you're going about your daily business, you might see one another and wave. You might see Quinn over behind one of the buildings shadow boxing. You might see Valandril in one of the halls doing playing quarters or gold pieces with somebody. And you might you see each other out there, but you don't necessarily get to spend a lot of time together. So it was kind of a refreshing moment on the 7th morning when Sebastian himself, normally not in camp, but Sebastian himself arrives and sends somebody to each of you to bring you into the main house, the main longhouse. When you arrive, you see him seated, and he begins to explain why he's brought you together. And it sounds like this. Hey, guys.
Oh no. Not this shit again.
So your little bracelets, I think they still look pretty. They don't work, obviously, but I just need you to know that while I do still have your blood, I am releasing you from any of the holds or bondage that I had with that, because you've done what I asked you to do. You accomplished your goal, and I know that I know that it might not seem like that. And he looks at you, Quinn, for a moment. And I know that it might not seem like that, but your help was... It was more welcome than you might know.
Can I just punch him in the nose?
Roll for punch.
For real?
It's
Yep.
it's,
For real.
he's an 18. I'll just let you know.
Oh shit. Okay.
What do you get to apply? What do you get to apply?
For a second there, I thought that had the 0 on it.
Can I get advantage for surprise?
You do. Let's do that.
Oh no!
This is gonna be even worse. You watch.
No, that, yeah. That lands.
19.
If it's a 19, then it definitely hits.
Yeah.
Okay. You haul back and you punch him. I'm assuming the nose is your target. Yeah.
I'm gonna break this fucker's nose.
All right. You haul back and you connect. And for a moment there, it looked like he was about to throw up an arm and defend. It looked like he was about to do something to stop. And at the last minute, you don't see him steel himself, but you see him still himself. And you rock the middle of his face. You rock the middle of his face in a way that's so satisfying. You've punched a lot of faces. You know what it feels like. And you get that solid... It was everything you were hoping for. And his head rocks back because that's what happens with a punch like that. Mm-hmm. Back and forth. And his eyes slowly open and the blood slowly starts to come out. And he continues speaking. And he says, at this point, I'm going to be asking you for another favor. And this would be to help a group of people move out of the way of the storm and back to their land. They were here on a mission of sorts, and their mission is completed, but they got caught in the storm at the last minute, and we're just trying to get them back to their home. The leader is a good friend of mine. He's a good dwarf, and if you would be able to get him back to his home, he's got a rather large army with him. And so it's not protection necessarily from the people around. It's not the natives I'm worried about that live here in the Arctic. It might be the people he's traveling with that have started to cause us some concern. So if you would go and act as a bodyguard in camp for him and make sure he gets home, I would appreciate it. And it would just mean that many more people safe and out of the way of the storm. Would you be willing to do that?
Can I ask where we're transporting these people?
Yeah. He keeps wiping the blood. It doesn't stop. It's like,
It's just like gushing, yeah.
coming down.
Are we just gonna like breeze over the fact that you just got punched in the face? Like.
Yep.
Okay. If we're just gonna breeze over that, how come you didn't release our blood magic like 6 days ago?
Well, I forgot, quite frankly, that I had you under a bind. Once you're
That seems
70,
very irresponsible.
Don't make me punch you again.
Maybe.
That's fine. I'm cool with that. That's an acceptable reason.
once your 72 hours was over and the storm had been released, you became the least of my worries, and you went from becoming a possible problem to a valuable asset, and now I was just hoping to be able to utilize you again.
Right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, I get that. So escorting people from this cold tundra stuff to where again?
Yeah, where are we going?
Back to their land.
Is it still in the cold tundra, or are we totally leaving that?
No, you'll be. It's on the ground. You'll be marching, but you'll be leaving the snow before long, and you'll be reaching some area that sees more seasons than the tundra here.
All right, gotcha. Okay.
If you still have the map's right.
Map. It's the map. It's the map. It's the map.
Wait, where?
In the they look like scrolls in a
That one.
That
in
one.
your left hand.
The other one. Yep.
Please be careful.
That scares me every time.
It's so good.
Oh, it's upside down anyways.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
So you see the large snowy Arctic. You see the little.
Because we're not cool enough for graphics yet.
Yep.
Right.
You see the larger green patch. that, and especially near the coast, is considered the region where you're headed.
Alright.
This is some like paper crinkling ASMR, but I'm like.
Urbcenturna is the name of the land you're going to. Urbcenturna, URB.
Oh, I was thinking herb like spices.
Like herbs.
Like herbal
Herbal essence.
Urbcenturna. It's URBSETURNA.
Herb set turna.
That's a unique name.
Urbcenturna.
It looks like a little dinosaur.
How long would
The whole thing?
Look, no,
Yeah, those-
Oh, I see it. It's like a brontosaurus.
Yeah,
It
you
does
see?
look kinda like
It has little big arms.
Yeah, it's got little bitty
It's got
T-Rex
some
arms and
big
a long neck.
thighs.
A dinosaur does. It's just
Thick.
like a little
There's
tail.
like a lot of season
I
stuff.
dropped my
Those thighs
eggs.
can destroy the house.
He's dropping his egg.
I had 3 eggs, but I dropped them.
Oh no! What? Oh, those are 2 times.
So this is where we're going.
We'll have
This
to
is
make
where
sure
we're
that-
going. Where's the party that we're going to assist?
Oh, they're pretty much where you are. You guys are very close to the epicenter, just on the outside of the epicenter. Yeah,
here?
right where your finger is.
Okay.
So you're going to be traveling all the way across the tundra and
That's a
into
lot.
that green
That's a
area.
lot of
Okay.
travel time.
It'll be a slower travel too, because you'll be traveling with an army of around 600. So
Oh.
it's a rather large host that you'll be traveling with.
And our main goal is just to protect this dwarf man.
You're just making sure he gets back. Jules is called the people's president. I'm sorry, the people's king, president.
Never mind.
People's fantasy president.
This is actually a republic.
Ah.
And so he's voted once a year in. That's why he's called the people's king.
Aha.
Jules, the people's king.
This is how democracy ends. With thunderous applause.
That's all I want, everybody. Just some thunderous applause.
Stop referencing things.
Grant, you sound so unenthused.
My life is the prequels, Grant.
Stop referencing things.
Can't keep up with all these prequel memes. Hello there.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily trying to ask for anything. I don't think I'm in the position to do so, but like, are we just dropping them off and coming back? Like, are we done after we do this?
And are we
like,
getting
what do you
anything
think?
for this?
You really want to ask that?
Yes.
I'm not concerned about what I'm getting from it. I'm concerned about what's happening after.
chaotic
That's fair. That's a good point.
Well, I have a rather long to-do list as it stands right now. And this was one of the big items at the top of my list. And I was going to go myself, or I was going to get some of my people to go.
Oh, Sebastian, what a hero.
But when I was thinking about you guys and realizing that I had these untapped assets, I figured I would check with you and see if you'd be willing to do this. Now, I don't have any... Is this a creepy asterisk? Did I step into something?
Kind of.
A little bit.
Well, we're gonna...
I think the creepier part is Grant and I immediately looked at each other.
All three of
Yeah.
us. All three of us were just like.
Joe was like,
Was it untapped? What did I do?
yes! Untapped assets was some funny...
Oh, hey, that is funny. I hear it. I hear it.
We're so sorry, Jason.
No, that's good stuff. I'd have kept on going and not realized I'd said untapped assets.
So these assets that have been untapped.
Yeah, the soon to
Tell us
be
more
tapped
about these assets.
We're tapping into those assets.
Tapping straight into them. Those assets.
I've just got things to do. I don't mind helping. Like, I can
Assets.
I've got assets to take care of. I can help take care of this as long as my
Tap that
compatriots
asset.
here are able to help with that. It's just that I don't know how much longer I can help. I've got my own plans to worry about.
Oh, I understand, and you're under no obligation. As far as I'm concerned, our deal is done. We've completed our deal, and for this right now, it's not something that I can reward you for. I do know that Jules will be eternally grateful when he makes it all the way back home.
And he's a king. That might be worth something.
But an elected king.
I like that better. That means if people like him, he's a good dude.
Doesn't mean he has money.
That's fair, but
It's
all
not.
kings have
I don't
money.
think we should necessarily be asking for money here.
I'm not gonna ask. But
Now.
should we get to the end of our adventure, everybody alive, if
And
all
they
went
feel
well,
humbly gracious.
I would not say no to a reward. I might even inquire that they might give us some.
I'm honestly kind of
Grease
surprised
our
they didn't-
palms with some assets.
I agree. I would love some assets in my palms. Anyways.
Season 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Starting off with a bang.
Oh, did
Starting off with some assets.
Oh my.
Well,
cannot. Nope.
grease away, my friends. Grease away. It's entirely possible that Jules is going to hook you up with all the assets you can handle. I understand that as adventurers who are out on their own,
Juvenile.
that you have some expectations. You expect to get something for what you're doing. I wouldn't ask you to do this for free. I feel like some of you might feel obligated to, but I would encourage you to try and turn this into a profitable adventure. I'm just not able to be the person who makes it profitable for you. I'm putting you in contact with the people that I hope will be as generous with you as I would like to be.
Well, I don't know about my friends here, but I do feel like I would be willing to help. It does seem to be closer to the coast, like I would like to be, closer to not this freezing weather, which I do not enjoy very much. So I'm willing to help.
Yeah, I mean, I was down. The moment you said we were helping a king, down.
I want you guys to understand that I have no way to... I wouldn't even dream of forcing you into feeling like you had to do this. There's other options for you if you'd like. I can send you on... I have a friend that's going on a hunting expedition to hunt for sea creatures. They have a very, very valuable air bladder within them that gets used, and those air bladders go for an obscene amount of money. I could put you in contact with people that are hunting those if you like. There's the chance that you could... I don't mind putting you in touch with people that can help you further your goals. You don't have to help Jules, the king, the people's king.
We have options.
Sure.
Anyone find it odd that he's a little less sinister now after 7 days?
I mean,
He might just be a little less
truly he
stressed
wasn't. It appears that he wasn't sinister from the beginning. Lots of miscommunications and.
But like the
Sucks.
very first time we met him, he was very all...
Well, you have to understand, he was definitely looking for a life-threatening,
Yeah.
world-destroying
by
component.
killing at least 27 other people before us.
They died on their own. You guys were prisoners then. You remember this, right? You were my prisoners because you broke the law.
What law?
You've
That's
now
fair.
you trespassed and touched property that was not yours, attempting to steal it.
There was a sign that said no trespassing.
Ours didn't have a sign.
Mine did.
I would suggest you go back and check the tapes.
Oh.
Since they're on my assets, you'll never be able to
They're
know
gonna get
otherwise.
deleted.
I control the information. I am the media.
I am the
If they get
media.
deleted, we have our answer. I was right.
Yeah.
And if they don't get deleted, then nobody listened.
Aw.
So clearly, lots of misunderstandings.
You made a lot of mistakes. That's true. It's okay.
We can
Let's
move
not
on.
point any blame. Not boil any blood, so to speak.
Right.
I have a totally unrelated question. Right? I'm sorry to do this, but do you still have our blood vials?
Yes.
Are they still magically attached to us, or did you undo that?
You have no bind that would harm you, but I
Okay.
plan to keep them. I plan to keep them so I could locate you and transport to you, or make other
Okay.
options available to you.
How about as a sign of faith, you just give us our vials?
Well,
You can just use a nice little carrier pigeon if you need to contact
How
us.
about, as a sign of faith, you give us almost all of our vials?
Are you trying to bargain?
Those three?
Yes, you take theirs, you can keep mine. As a sign of faith, I'll let you keep mine.
Quite honestly, I don't really care, so you can keep mine too.
I've already punched you in the face. I don't care what you have on me now.
So just give his back as a sign of faith.
Now have a blood vial.
Now,
You don't
well,
think this ain't gonna come in handy later?
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm excited.
so say that while the magic was going on, you had shattered one of those blood vials. What would it do to us? Would it do anything?
Oh, you mean during the 72 hours?
Yeah, during those 72 hours, if you broke the blood vial.
No, I'd be fine.
But
What would
it
happen
be
to
okay?
us?
Oh, no.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
I
What
broke
would,
some blood vials in that gold tower. And
Were they stamped with a black wax on top and a seal?
were they stamped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the blood vials. And you destroyed them?
Some of them. A
Try
majority.
all.
Fortunately, all of those adventurers were already dead, so their blood wouldn't be
Okay.
very useful to them. But wow, that could have gone badly.
It could have. I didn't know. I was just like, what's all this stuff? And then I lined them all up and shot them with a crossbow.
Yeah, you sound like a regular scientist.
Yeah, it was definitely an experiment, and
Definitely a
Yep.
an interesting experiment
Yep.
there, Monolith. Don't you think that was probably not the smartest idea you could have possibly had?
I didn't know what was going on. I just was like, hey,
I feel like maybe
Let's-
you could have like
Domino set these up and then pow all at once.
your thought process for this was
Listen, she was there too, all right. She could have stopped me.
Oh
She
no,
did not.
I helped.
She helped me.
okay,
I was in full support of this dumb move.
but you agree that it was dumb?
Oh yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
it was dumb until just now.
I mean,
So.
I fully understand the stupid ramifications of our stupid actions.
Magic just has different kinds of
Yeah,
consequences.
It's all sorts of. Maybe if you, I didn't know this, but maybe if you broke it, you were free.
Maybe if you broke it, you could have died. I'm just saying that this probably wasn't the
Yeah.
best gamble you could have taken.
Maybe
But
if you
we're
break it,
beside that.
you
We're
bought
out
it.
of here now.
These are all really good
This is not a
conversations that you
Bonds
can
novel.
have in a wagon.
Yeah.
Because in just a moment, if you choose to take this path instead of any of the others in the world that are open to you,
It sounds like we're not choosing, really.
you'll be getting on a wagon that'll be picking you up in the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Those expensive bladders. Lots of money.
I'm not going near a ship again.
Oh, that's fair.
Let's go walk with the king.
You can ask him about his assets.
I don't want to. Oh, I do want to ask him about his assets. I'll be like, hey, how much money you make, huh?
Oh my
You got like
lord.
120K a year, or was it like 7 million a year? Like, what am I working with you when I get done?
7 million copper.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna find out the nation's broke.
Yep.
He's the king of a town of
He was
12.
only elected because they just held a bloody revolution.
Yep.
He was elected by 7 people.
7 whole
It's
people.
a town of 12.
Exactly.
And
Filibuster.
Weird 600 people are.
So I didn't
What was that?
Fantastic is what it was. Continue.
I didn't go down all of my options for you, but I really want you guys to feel like this is something you get to do. King Jules, he's a real king. He is marching out of the Tempest and into that green spot. But that does not stop you. You could avoid ships if you're trying to look for something else to do. You could go hunt for gold and gems in dungeons.
Stealth boys!
There are all kinds of things that you could do. If you ask Sebastian for anything, he's going to try and connect you with somebody to help you.
I just need to get to the mainland as quickly as possible, and I think that working with Jules here will probably be our best bet.
Let's make sure that that is the best bet, because if there are other options to
If
get us
there
to the
is
mainland,
another option that will get me to the mainland faster and will let me finish what we're doing right now quick, so I can move on and look. Find
What are
I'm
we
looking
doing
for.
right now? I've been partying the past 7 days. Holds up, giant mug.
So, all right, what are our options?
The mugs of these people have little covers on them, like a German Stein.
Hell
that is
yeah!
fun to lift up. So when you're holding yours up, there's snow on top. Even though you've walked into the longhouse, it hasn't melted. And you flip the little lid, and all the snow comes off.
That's fantastic. Yes.
So, do we have other options? Like, we can get those air bladders, and we can give this king an escort.
Yeah, we ain't doing the air bladder thing.
What else is there?
What are you interested in? I know people. I know a lot of people.
And if we do these, does it help you?
No.
Oh.
I want to help you.
Oh.
The job that I've given you, the job I called you in here for, that the wagon's showing up for, I don't have to put you on the wagon. I've got other people I can put on that wagon. The wagon is one of your options. If that's one that I need help with.
I'm going.
The other things I don't need help with, but I would do them to help you.
Yeah. All right. We'll do this. I think we'll, right, guys?
Yeah,
Yep,
I think
I'm on the
this is-
wagon.
This is probably the best possible.
I mean, I decided to become an adventurer for the first part to make a name for myself and, helping a king with some jewels.
That's a good name.
That's pretty much textbook story.
I really like the idea of getting golden gems, but he might give us golden gems. He might give us something better. Might give us more boots.
Those gems might still be there when we come back.
That's true.
If we come
it
back.
might not be rated. I'm assuming this is routine, right? Like, don't think we're just gonna die.
Gosh. No, you won't die.
After stopping the end of the world, I feel pretty invincible right now.
He says we won't die. He's
I
got
have
our
the power
blood,
of God.
so he can save us if we're about to die. Can you do that?
3 of you.
Right, of course. Well, that's fine. 3 out of 4. That's a positive.
That's all
right?
that really matters.
That's
You've
not
got
a
the
failing
important
rate.
players.
That's a D plus, I think, in
I think maybe a
fantasy
little higher.
school.
I think maybe
Okay.
like a C.
75.
Yeah, C's get to grades.
75 is absolutely not a C.
D plus in the Arcanum. Jeez.
Not in the school I went to, down in. I don't know where we are. We're in the tundra.
We're in the north, dude.
Pretty much everywhere else is down.
Everything's south from here,
Yep.
75 is a C.
including season 2.
70 to 79 is a C.
It's different for all schools. So
Yep.
It's a confusing conversation to have with the world because they all have different scales to grade on. Like a 70 to 80 is a C for most people. 70 to 79.5.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter to you guys, right? You came for the Dungeons and Dragons. And that's
Right.
about to happen. Because at that moment outside, you hear a wagon pull up. And you hear the wheels and you hear the squeaking. What you don't hear are the clip-clop of hooves on pavement. Mostly because there's no pavement.
True.
You also don't hear the clip-clop of hooves on hard ice. There is hard ice. So you leave and you step outside and you take a look at the wagon. And you see a large wagon that's not covered with cloth, but it's a large box. It's like a wagon house, a house on wheels. And it's being pulled by 2 polar bears. And the polar bears are each wearing a thin leather armor and are harnessed in a way that makes it so that they are walking side by side, but one of them's a little bit further. Polar bears have such a wide stance that if you put them side by side, their feet wouldn't work well together. So they're offset a little bit and closer, and now when they walk, they've got a good gait.
This is some Chronicles of Narnia.
They can pull
I was gonna
this
say
wagon
compass.
through
Yeah,
just
That too.
about
That's where I was going.
anything. Man, I thought I made that up. Oh well.
They have metal armor, so you got the
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're punks. Metal armor. Nobody wants to play with a polar bear that has metal armor.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
impossible. to
Right.
Val and Joel would just like to comment. That's pretty cool.
I think those polar bears are pretty adorable. I like that.
A lot of wagons have a place for somebody to sit outside of the box or outside of the house or outside of the Conestoga cover, and that's where the driver usually sits and holds reins, but you don't see anybody doing that here. You see instead reins coming out of an open box, and it makes you understand that the driver's on the inside of this wheelhouse. So the reins suddenly stop moving, and then from inside the wagon you hear a shuffling. And then a door opens. It folds down, creating a set of stairs for you. And down comes the orangest dwarf you have ever seen. He's about 3.5 feet tall. His beard is bright orange. His hair is bright orange. His clothing is bright orange. He is orange. And he jumps down and he looks up at Sebastian and he says, "Hey, Sebastian, are these them?" And Sebastian says, "Well, I think so." And he looks expectantly at the 4 of you.
Hi, my My name is Janet Tammy Woodsman. It is absolute pleasure to meet you. These are my compatriots, and I believe we will be helping you across this awful, awful tundra.
Well, it's great to meet you, Jacka Krabby. My name... My name is Dramph. Shake
hand.
Shake, shake.
Fantasy
Oh,
shake.
that's fantastic.
Ah, so this
Oh,
is how
that's
this is going to
amazing.
start.
Yes.
You can call me Jam if you'd like.
Oh, okay, Jam. Jam. And the rest of you?
My name is Monolith.
Hi, Monolith.
Yes.
Shake. I'm Dramp. Good to meet you. Hello,
I'm
tall
Quinn.
people.
Hello, I'm Quinn.
Hi, Quinn. I'm Dramp.
Hi, Dramp.
Hi, Dramp.
I hug him and then I pick him up off the ground.
Oh, this is fun.
You're very orange, and I set him down.
Your feet were dangling.
Wait,
What's happening?
what race is this person?
He's a dwarf.
Making sure. Okay, I
I'm-
can't speak dwarfish. No,
I can.
No, you can't.
No, I can't.
You should.
I should. My husband can.
Here it comes. Valandrill.
Oh, hey, everyone, Drills. It's so good to meet you.
Yep,
Well,
there it is.
we're gonna be getting in this big house box, and we're gonna drive out of here. So just jump right in. Do you have your stuff?
Yeah.
You don't have your stuff.
No, we don't. Can we go grab our
Hurry,
stuff?
please, hurry. And he jumps up the stairs, and he goes inside. The stairs don't come back up. The door remains open, but he's gone.
As Valandrill kind of does a back step as he's going towards the place where all the equipment is. Hey, by the way, who owns these bears?
He didn't hear you.
Damn.
You can ask the question again. It's totally okay, but in that instance, he'd gone inside and started doing a thing that made it so he wasn't hearing you.
Okay.
But you could go find out why he can't hear you if you want.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Now or after you get your stuff?
Right now, yeah.
Okay.
Jen and Timmy goes to get her stuff.
All right, you go get your stuff. You get your stuff? Monolith?
Yes, of course.
And Quinn. You go in to the steps and you step up the first couple and stick your head in.
Whoop.
And you see that there's a driver area up at the front, and it seems to have a hanging cocoon that seems to hang from the ceiling. And he's already in that cocoon, and he's already completely wrapped up. And what you see coming out of the top looks like a little chimney because he's exhaling out of a small hole in the cocoon. And he's got his hands are in like cocoon mittens that come out, and he's holding on to the reins, and he's just waiting for you guys to show up. He couldn't hear you because he was completely encased in that cocoon.
Well, that's not disturbing.
The cocoon looks around. All right, and you go off and get your stuff?
Of course.
All right, and everybody has their stuff. Would you just kind of paint a picture for me what you look like when you've got all your gear? You're about to jump on, like, fantasy transportation and go on a trip. What do you look like on the beginning? I know for one thing we all have already established you've got that snow gear on with the fur around the hood and the little ice crystals on it, but what about your stuff? How are you holding your stuff?
Jan and Tammy have one of the traveler packs that they got from the very beginning and stuff, so she has all of her stuff kind of just shoved in there.
Oh, Sebastian gave each of you a receipt, and on it said paid. He gave you all the stuff that you left with.
Yeah.
Originally, you were supposed to return and give that to him, and then you were going to get reimbursed based on what you'd done. But instead, he just let you keep all the stuff that you took.
Thank you, Sebastian.
He's very law-abiding, which is why you got the receipt rather than him just telling you that you could keep it. It actually came with a receipt.
So, question. During this nice 7 days, is there any potentials I could have gotten arrows from somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Precisely how many you think?
How many were you trying to get?
That's a good question.
How many would an archer want?
Probably 30.
Then roll a d20 twice, and we'll add up that number for how many you got.
2 nat
Do a
20s.
similar thing for crossbow
14.
bolts. Doesn't need nearly as many.
16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a 30.
That's exactly the 30. And how many do you think you'd like?
For crossbow bolts, let me check how many I have first.
I was really just going based off the quiver size from like Legend of Zelda.
Nice.
I have 6 currently. I should probably have like another 10, 15. I only use like 1 or 2 every combat.
Okay, well, let's just say whatever the D20 gives you will be the number of bolts you receive.
Alright. 5.
5 more bolts.
There we go.
And obviously, you guys are about to step into the middle of a military camp. You might have access to more of these things. Maybe it's a really well-run military camp, and you won't, unless you talk to the right people. But just because that's all you have for now doesn't mean that the world doesn't contain all that you have, or all that you want. You just need to go get it.
Everything.
All
Our
the things.
fingertips. This orange dwarf is going to give it to us.
He has the power.
Of Grayskull.
I've got power. So, what about the rest of you? How are you looking? What are you holding? You got a backpack?
I've got a backpack and I have my sword. Did I gave you one of those pairs of goggles, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I still have like 1 pair of goggles hanging around my neck.
Instead of 2.
Yeah, I have like nice thick fur cloak over my shoulders.
Double dark vision.
Double dark vision.
It works. If you have dark vision and you put on dark vision goggles, you get double dark
Are
vision.
no.
No,
Are
for
you
real.
serious?
That sounds made up.
No, that's for
That sounds like double coffee.
Sounds fake, but okay.
No, I'm not lying. I'm saying.
There you lie. Janet Tammy has like her sleeves rolled up because like, it's a little hot
Like
for
it's
her.
just gonna beat me up. If you already have dark vision, wearing the goggles increases its range by 60 feet.
No
Oh,
way!
no way. That's awesome.
And you were the one complaining that, oh, you already have dark vision. Give me the goggles.
What
I
if,
can
what if
get
she
to
wore
60 feet.
both pairs?
Alright,
Wait.
now we're getting. Now that's too many feet. Now she can see further.
Goggleception.
She, like,
Goggleception.
because of the increased dark vision, her regular vision is just increased, and she's like,
My third eye is open.
it's in 8K now. I can see your pores.
Oh no!
You know how you watch like a super HD TV and everything just looks fake?
2 goggles just
Yeah.
makes everything IMAX.
Yeah. I can see behind me.
Campfire Quest, filmed in IMAX.
360 dark vision. Oh no.
No scope.
Anything in particular about the way Valandril is?
Probably nothing
Decked
super
out?
special, just decked out in the fur bit. Probably looks, I'd imagine they're Eskimo-ish looking, like in terms of how it's, nice little fur hood and all that jazz. Has quiver on the side, because that is historically accurate.
Right, and we
Bow around, and he has a scimitar.
historically half-elves always keep their quiver on the side.
Right.
Hip,
That's how archers do it.
hip quiver is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Janet Tammy doesn't know how to hold like weaponry and stuff. She just knows how to hold like her farm gear. So like she's just been kind of holding her sickle wherever she goes because she doesn't know where to put it.
Right.
no.
So she's
Where's the
just holding
shed?
it.
Where's the shed?
Oh no.
And anything in particular?
I don't think so, no.
Didn't you have some new
I mean-
clothes or something last time? You had something.
Is that getting close?
Something happened
Goggles,
last
you
time.
had-
swords.
We had
I got
goggles, swords, boots.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of
I
your
think it
boots.
was the boots.
Yeah, it was the boots.
I don't think we had anything else.
Who's a good dog? Mabel's a good dog.
Mabel.
Mabel's a good dog.
Mabel's a good dog.
Quit rolling dice and pet my head.
I am going to cast Beast Bonds and Animal Friendship.
I'm gonna
Hello,
roll
Mabel.
for petting.
Roll for panic.
I actually didn't do that.
What?
I can make Mabel icy.
Mabel, come here. Come to me.
And dog distraction.
Okay, what were you saying? What am I doing?
Nothing. Pet the dog.
Oh, okay, good.
Pet the dog.
I only rolled a 7 on petting, so I'm not
So
gonna
you can
get
only
very
Oh,
pet her
just a
7
little-
times. You're
yeah.
done now, Grant.
Oh, I was
Too
way,
many.
way over.
You owe.
Oh,
you owe
hold on.
us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to
Cocked.
owe pets now.
How do I?
I got a 13. Come here,
She
Mabel.
has to pet you.
No, she's mine.
If she were any smaller, I'd pick her up so she could be on camera, but I'm just not capable.
She's
Yeah.
so big.
If
She's so big.
large.
If
She's
Go,
a
let's
chonk.
do it.
Alright.
Mabel.
Big girl.
Who's a hippo?
Can you see her on the camera, just like her nose?
No.
Oh, dang. Do a jump. Jump on her.
She's an
Mabel
absolute
jump.
unit.
I don't think Mabel has vertical abilities.
Yeah, no, I don't
barely,
think she
barely
has.
has horizontal.
Her vertical leap is like her modifier
Negative.
is like a -4.
Slam dunk. She can slam dunk a
She knows
chicken
how to lay
wing.
down. And that's it.
Oh.
girl. She's a good at laying down.
Oh, Mabel.
You're so good at like.
Mabel,
She made a groan. She's like,
I heard there's snacks over there, Mabel. I heard there's
Snacks?
over there.
Snacks.
She's stuck. She can't.
She's just like, oh no, the snacks.
Come here, Chungus.
Chungus.
oh, what's happening? Where am
Thank
I?
you for saying
What time is it?
hello.
Where are we?
Where did we go?
It's
You were just
3:30.
petting the polar bear.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
A black polar bear.
So,
Ooh, is that like an albino polar bear?
No.
What? It's technically that would be a leucistic polar bear.
What is that? What it's called? Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called? What's the opposite of albino? Okay.
What is it called?
Leucistic. L-E-U.
Wow,
I don't even know if
it's
that's the right way to
all
pronounce it.
pigmentation.
I know it was a joke.
I know it was a joke, but like,
but I thought you were also a little serious because
It was just how earnest he was when asking
Yeah.
it.
polar bears have black skin.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
And their fur is just so dense that they're like they look white. But I
Sometimes-
looked it up.
Oh, never
Sometimes
mind.
they have
The
red fur
leucistic
around
is
their
white.
muzzle when they've
Never
been
mind.
eating seals.
Melanism.
Melanism.
And other polar bears.
Sure.
That's what.
And people too.
oh no.
So here's what's going to happen. Without any rigmarole, you guys all board the wheelhouse. You pull the stairs up behind yourself. The little cocoon that's hanging up at the front of the wheelhouse and holding onto the reins and breathing a little chimney smoke out of the top says, "It sounds like there's 4. Are you all here?"
1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, sir.
Polar bear!
I love this.
And all of a sudden, the whole it doesn't lurch. You've been in a lot of wagons. When horses pull a wagon, they lurch because there's like this little pause, and then everything just starts. The polar bear, it's more like driving a Porsche. The car just starts moving.
Yes.
It's maybe the off step on the polar bear feet or something, but there's no lurch. There's just forward motion, and off you go.
I feel smooth.
Right?
It is a smooth ride, and the wheels are wide set. The roads that out here aren't really roads. You just need a wide enough wheelbase to be able to keep your wheelhouse upright, and that's exactly what we've got going on. And I would say that you're about to embark on a couple hours journey before you meet up with the rest of the army and Jules, the People's King. So while we're waiting for that, we're going to take a small little 10-minute break. We're all going to go pet the dogs.
Yes.
Because I don't think they're going to survive without at least 10 solid minutes of pet pets.
No.
And then, when we get back, we'll see what happens next.
Yeah.
Be back, be back, be back, be back!
Meet more.
You start like
Meet.
you start like
Stuff
Meet
broke.
more.
scat.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you went and got snacks. We forgot to eat. We were so busy petting doggies. And if you would like to see what Mabel and Hattie look like, you can check them out on our Twitter. You can check them out on our Instagram. What did I do?
I'm really proud of you. That was a good tie-in.
You like the segue? Thank
That
you.
was solid.
You can check us at Campfire Quest with a little @ in front of it for Insta and for Twitter. If you know that, if you don't know that, you won't be able to go there anyway.
I mean, if you're watching on Twitch, you know, we have those panels down at the bottom right there. Take you right to it.
Oh, boy, Zoe made some pretty panels.
Plaza for
You
sure.
can definitely click right on them. There's no donate panel, though, no, because...
But there is a subscribe. And remember,
we don't want your money until
$300.
next
Yeah,
episode.
that's not. Well.
Hellbeast. Hellbeast promo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And don't forget the upgrade. I'll come right to your house.
Yeah.
900.
Of course, that's.
Yep. As long as the plane ticket's under 6.
We can make that work.
I
We're
guess
flying
I
United.
guess I could drive.
Yeah, you are.
What?
You said make it under
No,
6.
you gotta fly Frontier. I mean, you'll really
No,
hate it.
I want to come home.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. I'm trying to let this B12 under my tongue completely melt. It hasn't happened yet. I'm sorry.
All right, stall.
Yeah.
So the ethics of stealing a polar bear
Furthermore.
that might be saddled up.
I would think it's okay. I mean, if it's.
I
not
think
like
it's
somebody
okay.
I feel like maybe
Like, what
if
if-
you found a random polar bear, it would be a little better than stealing.
Listen,
this
Miss
man's
Druid.
transport. It's not a druid thing.
Listen, Miss Druid. What
You're
if
like
those
an
poor
animal
polar bears
insect.
are being
You're
like
like a-
tortured to pull the cart? What if the little cuckoo thing is like stabbing them in the butt to keep them go forward?
Never
I
thought of
would be
that.
freeing it from captivity.
It would be living a lot.
Hey, Drum, I have a question for you.
The silence indicates I'm
Yes,
right.
Trimmy.
I was just. You can call me Jam.
You GMs.
Okay.
Jams,
I was
yes.
just wondering, these polar bears that are pulling us along.
Oh, yes.
They're like your friends, right? Like you're not hurting them to move us or anything, right?
What? You mean like stabbing him with me, cocoon? No. That's not what we do.
So they're just like your buddies that are helping us along this ride that are yours. They're yours, right?
I wish.
Whose are they?
They belong to the People's Army.
Okay, but like they're
But who are the
They
people?
belong to somebody.
Yes, the Army.
Okay.
The People's Army.
The People's Army. See? They belong to somebody. As in
But
somebody
listen,
owns them.
I like how this OOC conversation just suddenly got shifted.
They belong to an organization,
Okay,
which
but
means that I don't care. It's an organization.
you're trying to steal from the king. that
Season
you're trying
2,
to
Polar
steal
Bear
from.
Heist.
No, I'm
Polar
trying
bear
to steal.
heist. No.
Still, a polar bear's different. We're
No,
not
I
actually
feel
gonna
like
do it.
If the king found out that you stole one of his polar bears from his army,
But what-
I feel like he would
Who's
be
gonna-
less likely. He will be less likely to give you any rewards after we're done.
What if
with
the
one.
polar bear came of its own volition? It has free will, you know.
You know, people.
Wait. I found the solution, alright? This solves all of this. Yeah? What was that?
That was for her.
When we finish this mission, we ask him for a polar bear.
See, that is a perfect idea.
That
is
sounds
so
like
much-
a waste when I can persuade one to join our side.
I feel like you're
Don't
just
use
trying
your
to try
weird-
a new skill.
I feel like I want a polar bear.
I feel like we don't need a polar bear.
Why not?
What are you gonna do with
Hey,
a polar
guys,
bear?
guys,
Write it?
Guys. First off, a polar bear would be dope. It could kill things. Second off,
Can we
don't
can
steal
we
this poor man's polar bear.
can we
He's a
finish
nice
this
guy.
mission?
It's not his polar bear.
Can we finish this mission before we
guys,
discuss
it
the
just
polar
so
bear?
happens that we're pulling up on our stuff.
Yeah.
Nope.
Ah, wonderful.
Got
Is
an
the
hour and a
B12
half left
not-
to go. Oh yeah, no, that's long gone, but this is so much more fun.
I was only doing this to help you.
Oh, I've been done. I got caught up in the story.
And then an hour passed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god.
At the end of
We're
the
gonna have
hour, the
people biting
conversation
each other's throats off about polar bear
Oh
theft.
my god.
the conversation sounds almost exactly the same since it goes nowhere, but it does keep circling around and around. Luckily, Dramp is not driving the way you guys are talking. He's making a straight shot directly for the intersection where they expect you to meet the
I
rest
feel
of the army.
attacked.
No, I was just being poetic.
Poetically burning us. It just so happens that he was not being a moron and he was going straight through.
That's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth. What's your intelligence? An 8?
A 9, alright.
Oh, somebody's leveled up.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. It's still an 8.
I think we didn't solve that problem, but I think.
Oh.
Oh,
Wow. Really?
Every time he does that, I'm like, he's about to just shove you into a wall.
I'm getting punched again. The positive reinforcement. I'm just not
Hey,
used to it.
I only did that once, okay?
Every time my daughter shames me named and goes to high five me, she just slaps me in the face. She's so abusive.
Oh, no.
Whoa now.
Whoa, no.
I'm cool.
Okay.
I know the numbers to call.
Alright.
So
919?
This is terrible.
there's about one. Yep. There's about 1 hour of travel, and even though you are comfortably inside a wheelhouse, and even though Dramp is comfortably inside his driver's cocoon, we're still gonna roll for an encounter because this is what happens out here in the icy tundra. You just happen to run into stuff. Now I'm gonna let you, because only one person's gonna get to roll, and this will determine what's about to happen, if anything. If anything, because you know how these rolls work.
Not it.
Ooh, you're saying not it? Oh. I'm saying I could do it.
Okay, I can do it.
Oh, there's
Rock,
2
paper,
volunteers.
2
Roll.
volunteers.
No,
Oh, yeah.
how about we help each other out?
Or we
on
play
this?
4th in a row.
I feel like I don't think
Encounter.
I don't think encounters necessarily.
Yeah, no.
need
If
to
you
be-
wanted
be
to do
interesting.
that way, you could each roll a 10, and we'll add that together.
That's kind
Let's
of
do
Okay.
that. Let's do that.
All right.
Was that a 10?
This is a 12. My bad.
If you both
Yeah.
get ones, does it count as
This
a nat one?
no, because this prevents you from having, by doing it this way. The advantage is you can't
Yeah,
get
we
the
can't
1.
get a 1. What'd you
That's
get?
a cool one.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Make
like
your
that.
roll.
What'd you get?
Make your roll.
That's a 9.
A 9.
I got a 4.
That's a 13.
Hey,
I thought it was upside down. I was like, oh, I got a 6. And I was
you're on
like,
the
Yeah.
good side of the
this is
encounter.
a 10. I can get 9.
Did you
from
just
this
say
one.
we're on the good side of the encounter?
Yeah. You don't want to be on the lower half.
The
of
ice cracking
encounter.
comes out from the other direction.
Right?
Pull us over and just like get a list of encounters, totally randomize them. So that it's like, we got 20 guys. It's like, ooh,
Well, I
the
promise
sky goes dark.
I promise I will.
Okay,
I promise I will.
thank you.
Can't wait.
There'll be a reason.
Oh,
Yeah, there'll be a reason. That'll make it more fun.
oh.
So a 13 means that you guys were enjoying your conversation, and you had just come to the conclusion that, you know what, maybe we should discuss stealing a polar bear, having already done it a couple times. Mm-hmm. And as the conversation was becoming a little more heated, and the topic of polar bears being,
Polar.
what were you asking?
Melanin.
I want to mock you, and I forgot.
Oh,
Being albino.
Man, the mocking just really takes a beating when I can't remember who said what they said. Oh well, I'll get you next time.
How the turntables. Now we're gonna mock you.
how the turn.
Have the turntables.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a reference.
Yeah.
To what?
The Office.
Office.
Alright.
I can make a few references.
Alright,
Take
shoot.
Bandit.
Yeah. Albino polar bear.
That's a lot of bets.
15 seconds of
15
bats.
seconds of bets.
That's not from the Office.
15 whole seconds.
The wheelhouse comes to a stop.
Oh.
A little head pokes out of a cocoon, and you can see Dramp trying to make out through the small hole that he sees through what's in front of him. And you watch him as he kind of tugs on the reins a little bit, and the polar bears either refuse to move or can't move forward anymore. And Dramp says, I can't see what's stopping us, and they won't go around.
Here, I can take a look. And I get out and go look.
Oh, okay. So the door opens.
Having been on this adventure for a while now, and knowing that when things stop, they can be very good, I also immediately am like, oh, I'll look too. And I'm like, oh, is it more bombs?
Oh no. Okay.
It's a box of short swords.
I didn't even trade my other stuff.
When you get out, the two of you hop down from the stairs and.
Before we go down, I produce a flame cantrip. Just as like a.
Where are you holding it?
In my hand.
Okay.
On my head.
You can decide where it lives, right?
And by the
No, it's
a hand?
Just
Elbow.
produce flame specifically is just for hands.
Okay.
Because it's like if I punch somebody,
I'll put it on my
I
knee.
add some more.
You're like a knee someone with a flaming knee. It's got to be a cool move, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Bane did
Is
it.
it? It's like daytime.
Didn't Tony
right?
Jaa do that?
Very much so. It's middle of the
One of his
day.
movies?
I haven't done a very good job. The thing is that when you are in the place that you are, there's not a lot to describe. If I just say Arctic icy tundra, I just want you to picture white as far as you can see.
I imagine
what I
Hoth.
That's it. That's it. A few less AT-AT walkers and a lot less snow speeders, but basically the same thing.
Probably a Wampa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the encounter.
That's
we're
what you're finding right now.
Yes! And then his face gets mauled and he has to get surgery.
What? Okay.
Happened to Mark Hamill.
Oh.
I open the door.
With your flame in your hand,
Yeah.
and you step down. Monolith follows. You guys walk around the wheelhouse, and from the rear of the polar bears, and these are large polar bears. It's like, well, polar bear sized. And as you walk around the large polar bears and get to the front, you see both of them with their heads down, and they seem to be eating or drinking or nuzzling something.
Gross.
Prosperia.
As you
She came back to life and she's like, I'm
Wait,
gonna get him, and then the polar bear's like,
so to be 100% clear, these are wild polar bears we're talking about?
No, they're not wild polar bears.
I'm like half listening
They've
right now.
clearly
Maybe
been
you should
trained.
full listen.
I'm trying to full
Our
listen. You're
our
making it
polar
difficult.
bears. Right? Our
I don't
polar
know.
bears
What does that
pulling us.
mean?
Yeah, these are the polar bears that
The
are.
polar bears that are pulling us.
Okay.
They are not. It's not just random polar bears.
Damn. I thought they discovered a patch of polar bears feeding on something, and I was gonna come and say, "Aha!
Is that like the
I can go get my polar bear."
zoological naming of a group of polar bears?
Yeah, no, that's what they're called. A patch.
Okay.
It's a murder of crows, a patch of polar bears, a pod of whales. You know,
Gaggle of
Geese.
geese.
So, what can I take a closer look to see if what they're munching / poking at?
yeah. And I'm not even going to make you roll because the two of you are there and you've got perfectly reasonable eyes. And before the snow might have covered it up, but the polar bears have eaten down through the ice into a large sack that looks like a canvas sack, and it looks like it'd been frozen in the ice for a while, but now it's been ripped, and it looks like there's some sort of food being eaten by the polar bears.
Oh well, look at that! What are you eating there, little polar bear boy?
They're actually rather big. That's very
Janet's
silly.
Tammy's pretty
What is
tall.
it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it?
That's all,
Well-
folks.
You hear, that's it, and you hear crunch, crunch, and polar bear heads going down. So I guess, what are you asking to do? Right now, you're just looking at them eating stuff out of a frozen bag.
I want to.
You want to push the polar bears out of the way and take their bag?
No,
you-
I don't want to.
'cause you can.
No, I don't want to.
You really could.
I just want to
give you
understand what
$5.
you're doing.
Polar bear, listen. Can I make a
A persuasion.
monolith?
Uh huh.
I'm going to try and just calm the bears down a little bit.
Alright.
You take the bag.
You want me to like steal it, like sleight of hand the bag from
Kinda.
the
Why
bag
would
that they're
you? What?
eating from?
All
Yes.
I don't
They're
think
j-
that's how that works.
How about I
gonna
just
try-
speak with them?
I want to try and
How about
animal.
hey?
Wait,
Hey.
I'm
You guys
sorry.
aren't even
Okay.
there. You guys are-
Well, you know what? No, because it's a closed wheelhouse. You're more than welcome to step out, but that's how you'd have to get involved in the
You can't-
conversation.
You don't know what's going on.
Would we hear them arguing? Or are they like
Absolutely.
super
Are
thick?
they like
arguing?
raising
I'm
their
just-
voices?
No, we're
I'm
just
literally
we're talking
just
normally.
speaking. I haven't
Yeah.
even gotten a chance to say words.
We're just like she's just like, all right, you're gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and
Because I was planning on like giving them some of my rations to try and distract them,
Oh,
and then you try and take the bag,
Yeah.
just so we can make sure there's no lag.
Just like
You want some
up to
leave?
them and then I just like,
punching bag for 3 hours.
Yeah.
okay, I got you.
I don't think Aleve is gonna leave that.
Aleve?
I,
Advil?
Hmm?
Advil or Aleve?
No, I'm good.
I have
Okay.
an interjection. A group of polar bears is called a celebration.
Yay!
Parker, that's even more of a reason I need to tame a couple.
Right, it's not just one anymore. You need at least
I need
three.
a celebration of polar bears.
Okay, so should
That's
can
fantastic.
I roll like
Well,
sleight of
our
hand,
plan
or-
was I was gonna try and distract
It's
them
part-
or animal check or whatever with some of my rations
there
that
an
I
animal
have, and yeah, there's animal handling.
There is animal handling.
And he was gonna try and
I've
take
never
the
used
bag.
it.
Yeet.
So then, as a group, you're going to roll for animal handling.
If that's like the appropriate role.
What you're trying to do is get their attention. You're
Yeah,
trying
I
to.
just want to
roll
be
for
like,
history.
hi guys, how's it going? With like
Need
beef
you roll for
jerky.
history.
I'm gonna roll for history. I want to know the where these guys originated from. Like, hey, you from Boston? I'm from Boston. We can be friends. I get that.
Oh yeah.
So you're going to get to pick. I'm going to let you choose because this is two things you're doing.
Okay.
You're going to be dexterous. You're going to use your sleight of hand to try and sneak it out of there.
Okay.
But you're also going to need to be really strong because this is frozen into ice.
Not to mention they're polar bears.
And they're in the midst of eating it. And I'm not going to make you roll disadvantage, but I am only going to let you roll one time, and we're gonna go with whatever you roll.
Oh boy, man, strength is not my strong suit, but
But I mean, you get to pick either of those two because you're gonna perform both actions. And I'm
Yeah.
letting you pick.
I'm
You
gonna
get to
I'm
pick
gonna roll
dex or
first.
stealth.
Yes.
One of them's higher no
Pick
matter
dex
what.
or stealth.
Yeah, pick one. Or not stealth, you know what I mean?
Strength.
Can I roll first?
Will it matter? I mean, sure.
Not really.
For fun,
but-
yeah. I like rolling for.
All right, I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll go dex.
What's the total?
16 dirty.
Oh, okay. What would it have been if you picked strength?
Much less.
Okay, so
I was
16.
just like, if it was a really low number, I'd use the bigger one. If it was a really high number, I probably should still use the bigger one. But if it's high enough, I can use the little one.
I feel like you never know if it's high enough, and that's my
true.
concern.
That's true. I could have screwed myself.
16 is higher than I expected, and it is as high as you needed to be able to not only. Oh gosh, would you do your animal handling? Because that was kind of the crux. It counted on
Because
you.
if you.
I got a 17 plus 2.
Yes.
19.
So the polar bears look up at you.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
And what are you holding?
I'm holding like 2 little beef jerky pieces.
Oh.
The like hardest, most chewy, like. Oh yes! I'm gonna do the Mabel thing. Let me get some drools. Oh yeah! Aren't you just the cutest little thing?
And while all that cuteness is going on, it's a good thing it took so long because you did have to get a couple good tugs in. You're able to rip the entire bag out of the ice. It has a rip in it. It's a rip. But other than that rip, this entire bag, it's about the size of a duffel bag, shaped too, of a duffel bag, and you pull the whole thing out. It's kind of a thick canvasy material.
Okay.
And as you're holding it and looking at it, you're away from the 2 polar bears that have been pulling your wagon. They're all paying attention to Jan and Tammy. I would say it was nice and clean. It was a clean break. As the last of the jerky disappears down their nose or their snouts, probably not their noses,
They're like, oh,
What baby?
snorting that beef jerky.
chop it
I
out.
mean, it's so expensive. You should basically.
In a land of white powder.
Oh, I went to snort the snow. Is that a stick of beef jerky? What is this?
So they
You got
devour
my
the
beef
beef
jerky
jerky, and both
myself.
of them look down at the same time and start questioning. I mean, they're not angry, but confused that their food was gone. You're holding a frozen bag. Would you guys like to examine it here? What's your process?
I'm gonna take it in. I'm gonna take it in because, personally, I'm very nervous that they're gonna be like, and they're gonna come back over to me, and I'm gonna be like, no, sorry, I can't.
Well, it's a good thing you made that choice because almost immediately they would have done that, but you had already stepped up into the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You are
I just
following.
gave him last pat and I go in.
All right. So we're now the 4 of us in our wagon again, and you guys get a chance to help go through the bag.
Where'd you get the sack?
Well, the polar bears. That's what they stopped for. They stopped and they were eating the sack. By the way.
Okay.
I haven't.
So there might be a body in there.
Well,
It's entirely possible. I haven't looked
Yeah.
yet, so.
I guess let's
I
take a
look.
look.
Should we look?
Can I help?
Sure, and this doesn't require.
What are you grabbing? What are you grabbing? You grabbing the dice? Are you rolling? You rolling the dice?
If you get treasure, I have to read from a list. I have to know
Make
what.
sure. No, I'm rolling for it to explode. Oh no!
You find 2 live beehives.
20 seconds of bats.
20 whole seconds of bats.
Ah, we brought them into the carriage.
Oh, no!
Rabies everywhere.
Why were they eating
Rabies
bees?
everywhere.
Why were they eating bees?
Why was it making any sound?
Why are the bats vomiting bees?
Wow.
20 seconds of bats, each spinning 20 seconds of bees.
We need to mathematically figure out how many bats per second.
Oh,
Yes.
It depends on how thick the stream
We need a
is.
BPS ratio.
We'll get one.
Per second.
Bats per second, yes.
We'll get one.
We need a bats per
Hold up.
second.
Or bees
Hold
per
up.
second.
8 bats per second.
No, it's like 50. It's a bunch of bats.
that's a lot of bats.
It's a lot of
whole
bats.
lot of bats.
Here, while you guys do this, I'm just gonna roll every single dice and add up the sum total.
That'll be the
be your
number?
BPS.
Okay, that sounds like canon to me.
You guys continue on as we're searching through the bag as I get this.
Open the bag.
Without having you roll anything, I'll just say for the fun of it, Monolith starts to rip where the bears had already begun, and it's like a kid with their Halloween bag that just falls out all over the floor.
It's guts.
I'll get there. Oh, everything falls out of the bag and onto the floor, and you begin to sort through it with your hands. There's a distinct lack of guts.
Oh, thank God.
It's like we're already sorting through it. We don't know what it is.
Some of what you find.
Interesting.
Monolith in particular finds 1 half-eaten and 3 not touched bags of beef jerky.
Yeah.
More
Nice.
beef jerky.
We have a total, by the way.
Oh, good.
119 bats a second.
That's
Whoa!
the number I'm talking
That's a
about.
lot of
That's
bats.
a lot of bats.
119
Yeah, 119 bats.
BPS. Boom.
How do they fit in that? They
It's
gotta
a-
be like.
It's like a cloud.
It's a bat of
you know?
holding.
Oh yes, I hate you. So I find beef jerky.
Wow.
Yep, that's the first thing you find, and that's what
wonder
what
if that's
was
in the
being
equipment.
eaten. You also find 8 torches, unused.
Okay.
Is somebody writing this down?
Yeah,
'Cause,
I got it.
Nope.
So guys, D&D Beyond doesn't have beef jerky in the equipment.
Make a
Jerky?
custom.
Yeah, but why would they not have that?
You're right. You would think.
Because you can make a jerky from anything, not just beef.
They might look under hardtack.
5 at this.
Hard day. Okay. There we go. Nope. Doesn't exist.
Okay, that's a kind of food.
No.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay. All right. In addition, you find, and I'm not sure which of you picks it up, but whoever picks it up in front of everybody else, a small leather bag that has decorations on the outside of it.
I grab it.
Looks like the kind of bag that you would wear on your belt that you'd keep money in, but it's a little larger, and it certainly jingles a lot when you pick it up.
What kind of decorations? I picked it up already. I said it in the words.
You saw the
Yeah, I did.
jingles.
I want that money.
What's the design?
It looks like little plants and leaves all the way around,
Okay.
like holly or ivy or something.
I saw it and I picked it up immediately.
Yep. If you open it up and look inside, you will find a collection of coins and gems. I will list out what they include. 38 copper pieces.
Uh-huh.
6 silver pieces.
Uh-huh.
9 gold.
Uh-huh.
And 2 platinum pieces.
Booyah. 2 platinum.
Platinum is something I don't think you guys have run into yet.
Nope.
I'm
This is well above your current pay grade.
Monolith gets faint. He's looking at the beef jerky, like, yeah, I like beef jerky, and he sees her pull out the platinum, and he's like,
Valadro goes to catch him.
As he swoons.
Wow.
Quick, get him some
Is
water!
that platinum?
Yeah, there's 2. You want one?
Oh, okay. He holds out his hand. He's like, oh.
3 episodes, that platinum's gonna save him from an arrow.
Yeah.
Don't give it away. That's the good stuff.
I have to add that to my.
All right, so
Beef jerky. You can have all the beef jerky. Okay.
the coins came out and covered up what fell out of the bag first. And as you're counting and moving all this change around, you get to the large gems that are at the bottom because they fell out of the bag first. You find 2 diamonds. Each one is worth about 300 to 400 gold pieces each.
Oh, what?
Diamonds.
In the sky.
Lucy.
So Monolith puts
Lucy.
he puts the platinum in his pocket, and then he sees the diamonds, and he actually just passes out. He's actually just unconscious.
Roll a d4 to see how long you're unconscious for. That was a joke.
Should I do that? Or?
I say yes.
Do it.
Because it's like when you fall unconscious.
Okay,
you have
but
to
this is going to
stabilize
be
yourself.
for... instead, roll a d20. It'll be for minutes.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'm good with that. I was like, 20 hours? Oh! Gone the whole adventure!
It was a lot of diamonds.
That's a lot of diamonds.
8 minutes.
Okay, so for 8 minutes you're out, which means you don't see that in addition to those 2 diamonds, there's also 2 emeralds of roughly the same size but not the same value. They're going to be coming in at like 40 gold apiece.
Wow, that's drastic.
It is. And then 2 rubies of the same size. Their value is the same as the emerald.
At this moment, looking over at a passed out Monolith, Valandril straight at me. So we're not going to tell him about these, right?
No, I think I'll keep them.
Wait, what's happening?
She's keeping the...
She just suddenly got like 500 gold richer. That's what happened.
Well,
She got
fair
some-
enough.
Well,
Hey, she's lived on her farm her whole life.
There's like-
She gotta
there's-
How many
somewhere.
times?
2 of
diamonds?
2
each.
diamonds, 2 emeralds, 2 rubies,
Oh.
38 copper, 2 silver, 9 gold, 2 platinum. I gave 1 platinum to Monolith.
And
You
he
got
treasured it dearly.
I was
Straight
so- I
up,
was
just
like,
passed out, just
platinum.
overwhelmed.
Oh, so beautiful. And then a diamond's worth like 1,000,000 platinums, and couldn't handle it.
I,
Never seen a diamond in real life.
I know that I could
It is the
probably
equivalent
use
of 30
these for,
platinum. That is
yeah.
a very expensive diamond.
I could probably use these for spell components that might help us in the
Hear me
future.
out.
I will hear you, but
We
I'm
need
not
at
sure
least
if I'll listen.
1 diamond that Monolith is aware of as like a decoy diamond.
That's actually probably a very good idea.
Because he's going to wake up remembering he saw them and he's going to go scavenging for them.
You
If
know-
we just show him 1,
How about I
He's gonna
just
pass
give
without
him
a
1?
trace.
There's already 2.
just make sure he's very aware you're giving it to him.
You're
Don't
right.
let him know the other one exists.
I'll put the other ones away. I don't think it'll work in my fancy new spell component bag,
Oh,
but
this
I'm
is
gonna
bad.
keep them there.
I know what. Okay. Something bad's gonna happen, but it's all
So
good.
I'm just gonna keep the other ones mostly because I know I can probably use them for spells.
Just so
in the
long as
future.
we're both in agreement. He doesn't find out.
I agree. All right. Cool.
As you continue to go through the bag, and as Monolith snores lightly, it's a light snore.
Diamonds. Diamonds.
Oh, wow, platinum. In his dream is a lot like Scrooge McDuck.
He's jumping
Oh,
into
oh,
a
oh.
Scrooge McDuckian sized vault of
Yeah.
coins.
Yep.
But diamonds. And instead of, and he's like swimming through it. He's like,
I'm getting a Big Lebowski dream sequence kind of a thing going
Yeah.
on.
Yes.
Just really
say that.
There you go.
That'd be accurate.
diamonds instead of bowling pins.
Diamond
Yes.
in the sky.
So as Monolith is going through one of the best dream sequences this series has ever seen, we've got another box in the middle of the floor that you guys are all looking at. I said box. I should have said it's a square shape. It's wrapped in a cloth.
Shouldn't have passed out. I
Oh
love
no.
presents.
Okay.
Remember the last time we messed with a box?
Yeah.
So it's going to be Valandril who picks up it's not a box, it's the shape of a box. It's this wrapped in cloth thing. So you're holding it and you're going to unwrap it?
Well, if it's still on the ground, right?
Now it is, if I thought you picked it up. But
Yeah,
if you
not
didn't-
picking it up, but undoing the cloth.
Okay, so you start to unwrap it like you would a present wrapped
Yeah.
in paper.
Yep.
And inside you find 2 books of roughly the same size. 15 seconds of
15 whole
books.
seconds of books.
That's a lot of books.
Like it's shooting out of the box like a Jack in the Box. Like,
I'm being assaulted by knowledge.
you know what I like more than my Ferrari? Knowledge. And then the book's like,
Knowledge. It's a mimic book. Teeth just comes out, snatches your head.
the Monster Book of Monsters.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's probably copyright. We're getting sued.
Oh,
we're-
yep.
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
They won't find us.
We don't have
They
to talk
won't
about Fairy
find
Otter.
us.
They go after people that have made some money and they know that this isn't a secret.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 1 sub.
What I mean, as far as
Who was that
profits
sub,
and
huh?
incomes, and But boy, it sure wouldn't hurt if anybody else wanted to Twitch sub. Anyhow,
We are very adherent to our corporate overlords.
the books that you're looking at, do you pick them up?
Do you pick up
pick
the
up
books?
Yes, I do.
You're now holding the books, and as you flip through them, you find the front one, the one that you're looking at on top, is completely filled with blank pages. And so you shuffle to the second book, and you open it up, and it is a journal of some sort. And
So these are like 8x5 thingies. They're not like that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Book
So the first one's being kept.
Okay, so you now have a blank journal in your back pocket.
Just need a writing utensil. Anyone got some charcoal? This monolith made of charcoal.
I might look a little charcoal-ish, but I'm not made of charcoal.
Use his foot to write an entry.
And the other one looks like it was the journal that had been kept by the people that were carrying this bag.
Is there any name in the front? You know?
No, this looks like somebody that keeps journal after journal after journal, and there's no preface because it's one of 50. And they
So
were...
no indication, no dates, no anything. So
Oh, plenty of
on
dates.
the-
Plenty of dates and entries. There's just no, like... There's no entry at the
This
front
is the
that says,
journal
this
of-
journal belongs to...
Okay.
Right, none of that.
Then Valenjo will flip to the first page and see what the first date is.
It shows a date of about 2 months ago.
Okay.
2 months in the past, it looks like a traveler either dropped their bag or something happened and they got separated from their bag and life, who knows?
Yeah, and
this
their
might
life.
be a little too late because we're inside and stuff. But did Jan and Tammy, when there was the bag there, did she see anything when Monolith moved it out of the way, like a body or something, or was it just like the bag?
I would say that Janet Tammy was so focused on polar bears and beef jerky that you weren't even looking down to see Monolith struggling with what was underneath.
Okay.
I would also say that based on your passive perception, you wouldn't have seen anything anyway.
So Valenjo is looking at this journal. He reads the entries on all that. He seems very intense into it. Then he shuts it, throws it behind him.
Okay?
Found nothing.
Well, what was in that journal?
A bunch of personal feelings.
Well, give it to me. I don't
Go
know why
get
you
it.
Just throw it. It's 2 feet behind you. We're in a cabin.
Was she standing behind me? You think?
No, well, you guys were you're seated in there. The only person that's not facing the center seated is the person that passed out. But the rest of you are
Can we
kind of
roll
like...
to see if the book smacks his face? Potentially waking him up.
If you would like to, yeah.
I would absolutely love to do that.
But we're going to be rolling... This is some random stuff, so go ahead and roll percentile for me.
Oh my gosh.
We're getting some MCU level comedy up in this.
Yes.
Was that
A dog,
okay?
yeah.
I wasn't sure.
She would...
It's
50.
You have to do your D10 plus your D100.
Oh, I don't have a D10, so I'll have to roll this twice.
I got
That's
you.
cool.
No, that's not.
That's cool.
Oh,
Because
You
the
got-
thing
yeah,
is
bro.
that the
No. Oh, I thought you were putting more dice in my hand. I was like, I already have it.
whoa!
when you do it, you add
No.
the D100 is
It's
the
okay.
base,
Okay,
and
it's
then
the
other
first
one is
number.
the
Got
other
it.
Come here.
Here.
So sad.
Is she inside or is she inside?
It's hard to tell.
Ready?
She just whining. Had
So 31.
it. Ooh, 31%.
Here you go. Hand these back to him, please.
Would you please?
So it doesn't wake him up when it hits him in the head. It bounces off, and this is the thing. You throw it over your shoulder, it hit the wall behind you and bounced forward over your shoulder, hit Monolith in the face, and he was already doing his little... and he kept sleeping. So your roll wasn't enough to wake him up, but it did smack him in the head.
I'm
Nice.
Sweet. I'm gonna pick it up and pocket it.
Okay, you have a partially filled journal in your pocket. And the last thing on the floor that you guys have not investigated is sitting down there. and it is also wrapped in cloth. It's about the size of, you know what? A big bag of potatoes. It's about
It's
the
oddly
size of
sword-shaped.
a big bag of a big bag of potatoes.
I feel a little bad about opening this without Monolith. Maybe we could let him open up the last bag. Is that weird? He just seems so excited about all this.
He'll never know.
I feel like he will. I feel like he will know.
I feel like if he knew, that would be some clairvoyant knowledge.
How many minutes have passed? Am I waking up yet?
4.
Fine.
Someone slap me.
Balindril walks up to Monolith and kicks him on the side. Wake up!
Oh, I got kicked. What do I do now?
Quick, hand me the diamond.
You are awake.
Why?
I'm awake.
Just
Yes.
trust me.
Wait, which one? The one that we're giving
Just,
him?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I hold it above his nose. Monolith!
what is that?
This is for you, bud.
You giving this to me?
Yeah, we ended up finding 1 diamond in all those bags.
I thought you might like it. You seem so excited about finding it. And then you straight up
You only
passed out.
found 1 diamond?
We only found 1, and we knew you were going to steal it anyway, so we thought it best to give it to you.
Oh. What else have you found?
Nothing. We actually have
We
one last
actually-
sack we want you to open.
Because
Oh.
you seem so excited about the whole ordeal.
Isn't that a lie? You found books.
Oh, yeah, actually, we
How
have
do
some
you know
really
that?
good-
That was out of
Oh, yeah,
character.
yeah,
That
yeah.
By
was
some
out of
clairvoyant
I
Out of
forgot about
character.
the books, too. We found some journals. I don't know
Oh,
what the
okay,
first one
journals.
had, but we found another one that was half full of
Journals
some...
on what
The other one's oddly potato-shaped, though.
If you'd like to open it,
No, I'm good.
you don't want to...
Huh?
You don't want to open the other bag? It might be full of
Oh,
some
the
cool
bag.
facts.
I thought you meant the journal. Yeah, no,
Oh, that's
I'll
okay.
open them.
He
The
seems...
other bag?
Oh yeah,
Lon,
oh yeah.
The other bag?
Other bag. Yes. Sorry. I just... Okay.
Thus became the oddest relationship in Campfire Quest history.
Monolith X diamond.
Well, keep in mind that he's just come out of a 4.5 minute long dream sequence about nothing but diamonds. Diamonds in a pile,
got lied to.
diving into diamonds,
He doesn't know that.
But he doesn't know.
and now
that.
is holding diamond.
Yeah.
All this good stuff's happening. You've got a bag about
diamond
this
worth
big that
500
you could
million.
unwrap and
Shut
look
up.
in.
Big?
It's about this big.
I'm like,
Potato.
Big bag of
Potato
potatoes.
bag.
That's a big bag. All right. Well, thank you for waking me up. I do really enjoy opening things. The surprise of opening it really gets. To
We
me,
know
so-
how excited you get.
Yeah. Okay. yeah. I opened it.
You open it and you find 2 things. A really fancy shirt. This shirt is so fine and so nice that you feel like you want to have it. Like you feel like you want to own it. It has buttons on it. It's got these beautiful, beautiful buttons on it that look like they're made of ivory.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
And
What's in the other? What's the other thing?
The other thing?
What's the other thing? Tell me.
Well, there are...
as I'm looking at the shirt, I'm like, this looks.
Anyone else thinking that the
familiar.
polar bears just ate a rich person?
And I just I set it down and I grabbed this second thing, which is.
It is a pair of fancy dress pants that are wrapped up with something.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
a bundle, and you begin to unwrap the pants, and you realize what you're unwrapping is a gold chain. And the gold chain seems to be holding the pants together, and it's a medallion. It looks like you're holding somebody's fancy pants, shirt, and medallion as if they were getting ready to go out and, see the world and dress nice.
Monolith, you seemed a little shocked. Are you okay?
I'm good. I just, it's medallion and the shirt especially.
Out of character, you managed to get a hold of it this time.
You've done it.
You've done it.
I guess they're familiar. If you guys remember, way back, the first time we camped outside of Sebastian's camp, I stole a shirt.
I remember when they hogtied you up. That was real funny.
This
Best
is
night's
that,
sleep I got.
This is that shirt.
That's the.
This is.
That's
I
the
think
shirt
this
that
is
you stole?
I think this is the shirt that. Well, I gave it back.
It's the shirt that you stole and then gave back?
Yep, and the necklace that I tried to steal, but I screwed it up and I just kind of choked him a little bit with it. So
I feel like
He's totally asleep for
I'm
all
not
of this.
entirely sure what he was doing around here. If it was him, maybe someone just happened to have the same exact material.
So I know that this doesn't help you a lot, and I'm not doing this as a joke, but roll for intelligence.
Just D20 plus intelligence.
Yeah, except we're gonna call it.
I think you mean minus intelligence.
Well, no, my.
No, just intelligence is a straight, not one of the subs.
Okay.
You got what? -3.
-1.
-1,
Because
okay.
we did make me above wolf level intelligence.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, I got a 15 dirty. It was a 16.
that's plenty for you to realize that the shirt and medallion that you'd laid hands on back on that second or the first night was only about 10 nights ago. And this bag seems to have been in the ice for a lot longer.
Oh, so it's like a group of people.
But it does seem to be almost exactly the same as what you saw before. And while you're standing here, using your intelligence as well as you did, you begin to take a look at the medallion, and it's a gold disc that hangs from a chain, and there's an image on both sides. On the front side, it looks like a hooded figure, like a figure in a hood, a figure with a
Sebastian.
kind of a
Sebastian people.
well, a a hooded cloak figure on the front, and on the back, there is a symbol that is a combination. It looks like a combination of the infinity symbol and an Ankh, which is the life symbol with the line through it.
Yeah.
They seem to be on the front and the back of this little gold
Because of
disc.
Castlevania.
I show it to Jan and Tammy and everybody. I'm like, okay, I know I just said that these are the same exact ones, but they are not. They're just identical. It's just funny, you know? But you guys can look at the medallion. I don't know what it means.
Can I take a look? This
Yeah.
looks really interesting. Can I see if I've ever seen it before as Jan and Tammy?
Mm-hmm.
Do I make, like,
That would
a-
be. We'll do intelligence because you're seeking your own memories.
13. 14 minus 1.
Yep.
Yeah, -1 buddies.
Yeah.
You have never seen this before. You're pretty confident.
I've never seen anything like this. It looks really interesting, though. Here, you've ever seen it before?
I'm squinting really hard at it. No idea.
see.
Neither of you has encountered that symbol before in your histories.
Monolith, do you want this?
Yeah, sure, I'll keep it. Anybody want the...
You want a gold chain with a disc? Yes.
I'll say no. Anybody want the... Anybody want that?
He's from Fantasy, New Jersey. Of course he wants a gold chain with a
I
medallion
thought you were
on it.
like making
what's
the
up?
joke at first. You're like gonna get him a tracksuit.
Lyrical spiritual milk.
Tracksuit with the gold chain.
Fantastic.
Adidas tracksuit. I'm like, yo, what's good?
One good little stain of mozzarella right here.
Yeah.
Or marinara,
I
I'm sorry.
I asked the group, like, hey, anybody want this fancy shirt or the fancy pants?
What size are they? It might be a little
Uh,
small for me.
What B&D size are they?
So they are not half work size. They are more for an average sized adventurer.
As much as I would like to have something that's kind of pretty, I don't think this would necessarily.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. You guys are a little too tall for this.
Maybe you should
Maybe.
keep them. I mean, they look nice. Maybe you can sell them for some money.
There you
I'm
go.
just I'm gonna change my shirt right now. So I changed my undershirt or whatever with this new fancy one.
All right. And do you wear the chain?
Of course.
Roll for. I'm just kidding.
No, please.
When suddenly Mimic Shirt is eats him from the inside.
Roll for constitution damage. Whoa!
While Monolith was sleeping, the polar bears began their trek again. I wouldn't say that you noticed at first because of the smooth start that these wagons have, but you did notice once it was going and you're having your conversation, there's a gentle rock, a gentle sway, a definite forward momentum, and you guys are having this conversation. You're offering shirts, people are declining, you're putting on shirts and medallions safely. Everything's going perfectly well. And that's why it was so disturbing outside to hear a shrill shriek a shrill shriek. Good lord. That
Gotta get
sounded.
that waftily
a
weapon.
There was a shrill shriek that caused the polar bears to stop, and it caused Dreamph to jump out of his cocoon and say, "Oh God, not again!" And that's where we'll stop.
It's an ice kraken.
Ice Kraken, stop!
Ice Hell Beast.
Ice Beast.
An ice golem.
Well, everybody, thanks for being here on our very first episode of Season 2. And we're looking forward to doing Episode 2, where we'll find out what it actually was that is shrilly shrieking. Until then, you guys have a beautiful week and enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, nice. See you later.
We're screwed.